Hey everybody, my name is Nick Yother, and I'm excited to be here to tell you guys about our homeless ministry we have here at Hickory Flat. We have Craig Sollenberger and Marianne Butler who are going to tell us about both sides of it. We have a crew that goes out from the church down to Atlanta and through Cherokee County, and then we also support an organization within the Cherokee County community called the Homeless Coalition. But I want to start with Craig. He's been the man here for homeless ministry for so long. He's been doing this for how many years?
For 23 years now.
23 years that he's been going down to Atlanta, bringing money, food, stuff like that. He takes it all down, and it's just really awesome. And I'm going to let him tell you all about that. But then, again, we have Marianne Butler, who is part of the Homeless Coalition here in Cherokee County. They're more of a public organization, but organization that this church partnered with 5 or 6 other churches to really help birth. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Glad to have you guys here. Craig, I'd like to start with you. Can you just kind of give us a synopsis of what you do for homeless ministry here at Hickory Flat?
Okay, like earlier, we said that the homeless ministry has been going for 23 years. It started in the year 2000. We minister to the homeless in downtown Atlanta and recently some camps in Cherokee County. And it's a ministry of presence. So just let the homeless know that they're not forgotten and to feel the love of Jesus. We take down food. We take down during the wintertime, we take down blankets. We take hygiene products. We go by, our methodology is we go by what we call the 4 L's. Listen, learn, lean, and love. And listening is listening to God, listening to the one that we're engaging with, and listening to team members. And it follows the same thing with learn. Leaning, there might be somebody that really breaks your heart when you go downtown. And so you learn to lean on God first and your teammates. And then love is just sharing the love of Jesus. We've been doing it for 24 years. We go to the streets of Atlanta downtown. We hit places like Coca-Cola Park, a place called Trophy Shop, the Presbyterian Church. There's areas under buildings as far as overhangs, recovery centers, and things of that nature. Just to give you one story, there's many that I could give you, but about 2 years ago, last November, we went down and we had plenty of food. We had some hot soup. It was cold. It was November. It was going to get below freezing in the evening. In our last stop, we found a woman that was just lying down on a piece of cardboard on the asphalt pavement next to a parking deck. And we had some warm food, and we had some blankets, and we had some sweatshirts and coats and things of that nature. So we were able to get her more prepared. And her story was that the day before, she had plenty. She had a tent. She had things in the tent. She had blankets and so on and so forth. But apparently she set her tent up in the wrong place. And the police came and threw her in jail. They let her out of jail, and she had nothing because everything that she had before was gone. And so we just like to think that God gives us opportunity to show up in times like that. And there are plenty of times that those situations happen. And a lot of it's just us praying for the homeless or they praying for us. We've had some wonderful experiences. Again, we're a ministry of presence. We don't think that we're the ones that are going to take care of the problems. We just make sure that we get their names, we put them on a prayer list, we talk with them, we listen to them, and they kind of get to know us and look for the van and so on and so forth. So it's been a wonderful experience. And recently, through the coalition, we found camps in Cherokee County. And it's a little more, I think you put it as hidden, because they move around a lot. It's not like the city of Atlanta. And so a little more difficult to connect with the people in Cherokee County, but we do find camps and we do minister to them as well.
That's awesome. Now, Craig, can you just give us kind of a walkthrough of a day? Like if someone were to come here to volunteer, whether it be cooking or going with you, can you just give us a quick breakdown of what volunteers do to help the community help with this ministry?
Okay. At first, we typically meet at 9 o'clock is the standard time. On the winter times, we have Usually Bob Hirschneier comes on to make the soup at 8:30. He'll produce a pot of soup or a cooler full of soup. And then at 9 o'clock, the other volunteers show up, and we basically cook hot dogs. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are already prepared. We basically have hygiene kits already, and we basically combine them all together, ready to pack out. We load up blankets, and we take books, reading glasses. We take warm, especially during the winter, which we're gearing up for right now. We take warm articles of clothing. When we have them, we take underwear down, things of that nature. One of the most important items we take in our hygiene kits is socks, because it's amazing how valuable just a pair of socks is to a homeless person. And so we basically, from probably 9 o'clock to about 10:30, we basically cook and pack and get ready. And typically we do a devotion after that. And then we'll load up in the van and we go down, and we have designated stops, but sometimes the Holy Spirit moves us around. The spots that we hit, we start with Coca-Cola Park. We go to a place called Trophy Shops. In between these areas that we go, we find little pockets of homeless. We'll stop. And then we kind of on the lookout for these groups, because they might not be at these designated. Right. They move around. And then we'll go to, sometimes it's under an overpass. It may be in shelter under the doorways at Presbyterian Church across from the Capitol, old building that has a loading dock with a cover. Then there's locations like the Recovery Center. Now these people are housed, but they're homeless. And so we will feed them. And so then we just kind of move around until that. And then from there we go to Cherokee County on our way back, and we'll find the camps that we're going to serve, and we take care of that. And we usually get back around 5:30. And after 5:30, we basically put things away, clean up, and we have, during the process, we keep a prayer list, and then we'll pray out with naming all the homeless, and that'll be the day.
So if someone wanted to get involved, they could just show up here at 9 o'clock?
Yes, we do. We prefer if they're interested to contact me, we'll put them up what's called on the Sign Up Genius. And that basically goes out twice a month. Once is for the sign up, which is every second Saturday of the month. And then there's usually a recap note of this is how it went, this is what happened, and so on and so forth. And that's typically it. And right now we have the hygiene kits made up from VBS. We have people do peanut butter and jellies for us. We have people that provide hot dogs and chips and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the operation.
It's a beautiful community project because y'all partner with VBS, and these kids don't know where these socks are going or anything, but it really is going to people that are going to cherish these socks and really help them. It's really cool how really interwoven this community is.
And using that interwoven, we actually have Stitch and Share. They make hats and scarves for us as well. So during the winter time that we can take those.
That's awesome. Well, Craig, I want to say to you in front of everybody, I just want to say thank you so much for all your hard work and all the efforts you've put into this for the 23 or 24 years. I remember when I was coming up through youth group, you were really starting this ministry, and to see that so many years later you're still doing it, it's really beautiful. I have heard you say multiple times that it's a ministry of presence, and you definitely held that in you. I'm sure that many people down there know who you are, and they know they can trust you. They might not know the rest of your team, but they know who you are. So thank you for continuing this ministry. Thank you for helping introduce us to the director of the Homeless Coalition, Marianne. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you guys don't know, part of our annual budget goes to support the Homeless Coalition. And it's basically as part of a promise, a commitment really, that we have helped start this ministry and that we continue to support this ministry. And it's really focused here in the Cherokee County area. Marianne, could you just tell us a little bit about the coalition?
Can I jump in and add something real quick?
Sure.
And I wanted to mention about the Homeless Coalition of Cherokee County. Yeah. We have always tried to get homeless ministry going on in Cherokee County, but it's a totally different scenario, and it's very difficult. And then, so when there were a group of churches that started the Homeless Coalition, it was a perfect fit for us as Hickory Flat and a perfect opportunity for us to start getting our feet into the Cherokee County to help local homeless people. And now that's kind of, I just wanted to add that and then I'll pass it back over to
Sure.
Marianne.
No, thanks, Craig. No, you're exactly right. So we did. We started. It's kind of fun to tell the story, and it's you can watch God's hand through the whole thing. And some pastors from local churches got together and had to do a ministry outreach a few years ago, 2019, and then they started wondering, like, wait a minute, this kind should be county where food insecurity and people who are experiencing homelessness and things like that. And Craig, you were, I believe, a part of that early team when we just started having discussions and things, and said Hickory Flat, represented by Craig, was in on from like pretty much day one. So we started gathering and kind of talking about what are the needs, what are the services that exist in Cherokee County, what are the gaps that the Homeless Coalition. We didn't have a name at that time, but so we were a bunch of people, nice people, doing good work. That's what, yeah, exactly. And so then we started kind of coming together monthly, I think. And what's going on? What are the needs? Are there people that are experiencing homelessness in Cherokee County? All those things that were going on. And so in 2020, we formed a board. Craig was one of the original members, and Hickory Flat is one of the foundational partners, and started funding with Hickory Flat along with 5 other churches. So it's Canton First, The Way, Liberty Hill, Willesker, World's Chapel, and Hickory Flat. So what's really cool about that too is we have smaller churches and big churches, and we span the county. So we're it's
kind of all over the county.
Kind of catch the whole.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a full circle thing.
Yeah, we catch the whole thing. So 2020, we kind of know what happened.
Yeah.
2020, we shut down, but actually, what a blessing that was, because it gave me an opportunity to begin to discover really what was going on in the county. Where are there gaps in services? The most glaring one: there's no telephone. There's no emergency call, so that's very difficult. So we began to form those different programs and things like that. And the first one that we came up with, and it's our current program, is Operation Lou. This is a 7-night, week-long hotel stay for people who are literally unsheltered, in shelter. It's referral based, so I'll get a phone call or something from pretty much any agency, Homeless Ministry, The Rock, which is a recovery organization, other churches. I'll get a referral, and they'll say, hey, could you help this person for a week? They're in some kind of situation. Their stories are as varied as all of ours are. I can't put it in a box and say, this is it. So everybody comes in with a different story, and we have specifically trained volunteers. You each guest at the hotel, and work with them and listen to their story. So that's how it's Operation Ruth, and that's I'm going to point to Craig's relief, recover, restore. That's our relief component, or relief pillar of the Homeless Coalition. So 7 nights, Operation Ruth, and we always say it's more than a motel stay. We provide prayer, we'll provide a listening ear, and that listening is invaluable. That I have said this at least 100 times. Listening to people's story is more valuable than I think I can even put into words. It's the number of times I have to say no in a full of mine. And the direct calls that I do get, and they say you just people picking up the phone. And that's
Another wonderful thing about the program is that before this program was established, and I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody came to Homeless Ministries and they're looking for some help. And what Homeless Ministries, I think that's what happens, do what they call vet them. They basically listen to their stories, find out who they are, what their specific needs are, and from there they write up a program. But once that program was written, and if they didn't have housing for them right then, those people were back on the streets. And a lot of times that disconnects them from being able to fulfill the whole program that they're going to go to. So one of the beauty of Operation Root is that it's like we fill a gap and hold them in a facility ready for Homeless Ministries to come back and say, okay, we're ready. We've got a place for them. We can pick them back up and run with it. And I think it's just such an invaluable.
It's really a piece of the puzzle. We're a piece of the big puzzle, and the community here in Cherokee County all works together. Another example of that, Craig, is, and that's a great one. Another example is a prison ministry. There's a large prison ministry here, where our piece of the puzzle is when someone gets out of prison, the director of that ministry will reach out and say, do you have a week in your town? They offer that. Otherwise, that person can just walk prison and be homeless or would be experiencing, And so this allows their organization, safe shelter, safe harbor, a place for the person to come for a week and get the things that they need, the medical attention, maybe some other paperwork. A lot of times people, either it's stolen or it's lost, some paperwork, identification, and things like that. So that gives them the opportunity not to, one, worry about where they're going to be, and two, it can reduce the person going back to the situation perhaps that might not be that great that they started in, So that's another example of how we're partnering and working with. But that's the next process, or next pillar, I should say, is recover, and that's Path to Home. This one's getting a little bit more exciting. This is a 3-month extended stay. So we're all about restoration and housing stability. So we know that that's a temporary time where we pray that makes a sustainable change, but a lot of times it doesn't. So then recover is our 3-month, which is Path to Home. And that's where we put people in an extended stay type housing, and we work with them one-on-one in a kind of mentoring. It's a goal setting where they come to us and set their goals that help them achieve that stability, that housing stability. And then lastly is restoration, and that's our long-term vision. That's our long-term goal, which is like, I just get super excited every single time I talk about this. And that is we're working on the specifics of that. The vision right now is a tiny home or small cottage village type thing, like community. We're all about community, building relationships for people to come up to 2 years. So there's a whole approach to that. So that is so kind of our 3 pillars. And again, Hickory Flat has been in from day one, and we're thrilled to have Hickory Flat join us. We're also thrilled that we're having these programs and making so much progress in a relatively brief amount of time.
There's probably somebody watching this thinking, is homeless really that big in Cherokee County? I don't really see a ton of people outside of Walmart, but I could see somebody here and there. Can you speak to the statistics and how big of a problem this might be?
So it's interesting. Craig does a wonderful job looking at those that are living unsheltered in camps. And then there's a larger population that actually are somewhat sheltered or hidden, as we call them. They're either living in their cars, they're moving from place to place, so you don't really see them. Precariously housed is another term that is used, where they may have a couple of nights at a hotel, but that's all. They just have enough of a paycheck to stay there for a couple of nights, and then they're back in their car. Or they may be on Uncle Bill's couch, and then they're kicked out. Or do you see what I'm saying? So they're precariously housed. So
They're kind of transient.
and they're transient, and it's a very difficult number to get. But on any given night, there's at least 200 people that are unsheltered in Cherokee County. So it's greater than we think, and we know for a fact that those numbers are underreported.
Yeah,
It's just straight up.
that's probably
They are-
more than 200. And one of the things that when we first started, the thing that I heard was kind of there's so many different niches of homelessness,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess one of the most common was a single mother
Mhm.
with a 9-year-old child in a car or in a storage facility. And so think of that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Our numbers speak to that. So through Operation Roof, we've served over 400 individuals since its inception in 2021. So of those 400, 40% are children. That gives you a number of how many children we have in the house. That's a snippet of what we see, and that number of children, single moms with kids, and you can imagine the struggle trying to balance working with childcare, with your car maintenance and repair and things like that. It's a struggle. So
Yeah, it's interesting because when you put it in a space like that, it really humanizes it. Because if I were to see a kid walking around homeless, I'd be like, bro, let me take you into Publix. Let me get you some stuff. Let me find a place for you to go. But because we don't let ourselves see it, because we're in our car or we're busy doing our own thing, like this is our community and we rarely see homeless people around. But knowing that it's out there, it's like, wow, there's stuff to be done. Like I said, if I were to find a person, it'd be like, I need to do something right now. Do you know what I mean?
Some people may ask, well, why are they hidden? Yeah. Well, first you have to understand homeless people are very vulnerable. They're very vulnerable to the evils in society. And so that is one of the reasons that they kind of stay hidden and away from what we would see open. They don't just wave their hand to homeless or homeless and help. They need help, but they want to make sure that the help that they get is the proper help. That's right.
Right.
Well, is there anything more Hickory Flat can do? I know this will be out there, like this is podcast. Like we don't have enough time in this particular podcast to talk through everything, but do you have any other fundraisers or is there any way that the church can help the coalition?
Yeah, there's quite a few ways. One of the things that I failed to mention were our motel meal kits, and we're need-based, filling in gaps, right? Filling in gaps in services and things. And we noticed people would come into the hotel and they would have food from one of our. I mean, we have fantastic food pantries here in the county. It's not motel fun, it's not hotel fun though. If you think about it, that the light bulb goes off, right? It's like, oh wait, they don't have a kitchen. Here's a bag of rice. So we've created motel meal kits that we have had other churches and community organizations put together for us that have specific items for lunch, breakfast and lunch, snacks, and sides. For about 10 breakfasts and lunches, 10 sides, 20 snacks. So it's about 5-ish days for 2 people, and all the utensils like paper towels and anything else, spoons, bowls, whatever else they need in a box. So we call it our motel meal kit. And so that is one way. You could certainly join us with that as in preparation of those. And the cool thing about that is because Operation Roof is an ongoing ministry, it's an we're also a little bit smaller, so we don't need 500 because I don't know what I'd do with 500, but it's an ongoing ministry and it's a need. And also the striking thing about her is we know how expensive it is. Yeah. We know how expensive it is. And this is one way we can provide and care for our guests and allow them to save some money if they are saving up for the next step, car repair, putting down all the things, all those crazy things you need for your apartment, all those fees. Oh my goodness. So that's one way, but there's not one solution. There's not one quote unquote problem. It's not linear. It's not get a job, you won't be homeless anymore. It doesn't work that way. These are human beings and they're our brothers and sisters in Christ. And we want to remember that as we pray and think through how we want to come alongside them.
And Jesus taught us to love the least of these people. So to take that and to make that part of the mission, and it's good for us now too. And people need to understand that it's a call to still be a part of ministry and to love each other and to come beside each other and helping people. It sounds like that's what each of you guys do. Just thanks so much for dedicating your life to helping these people. Because again, I think sometimes we just really walk by and we're not really paying attention enough to see the problem around us. We're so fixated on our own lives, our own issues, and we're just walking by or driving by or whatever, but this is real, and it's here, and it's impacting our kids, single moms, all sorts of people who just fell on hard times, and they just need to know that there's a hand to help them get back at it. So I think as big of an issue as it is, I'm glad that we have some boots on the ground. And the last thing I'll ask you guys is, how can people connect to you? What's the best place? Of course, for anything they like to ask you specifically, or they want to shoot you guys an email to get involved or get on the Sign Up Genius, how would they be able to contact you guys?
Okay, for me, I'm usually here every Sunday. I'm active with the church, so you can usually find me. My email address is CNT Craig Nancy Terry Sollenberger SOLLENBERGER @att.net. That's probably the best way to get in contact with me.
Great. Thank you.
And you, Marianne?
Sure. The Homeless Coalition has a website.
Yeah.
Homeless Coalition Cherokee.org. We have a Facebook page. I would love to get people to like and follow us on Facebook. That's pretty new for us.
Yeah.
So Homeless Coalition Cherokee County is a Facebook page. And then you can reach out to me as well. It's Marianne, MARIANNE @homelesscoalitioncherokee.org.
And you can always reach out to me for the Homeless Coalition.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you guys so much for watching. This is kind of a deep dive or a part 2 of a ministry moment that we had in service. So please go check that out as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.